When we run any of the queries we've looked at, we'll get a column of data returned. Here's the result of running a query with left to return the first 3 letters of the customer's last names. Select left, last name, 3, from customers. A reason for doing this might be for something like generating standard invoice numbers using the first 3 letters of each customer's surname. At the top of the column, it tells us what we did to create this data, but it doesn't have any very nice name that we could work with later. We can assign descriptive names to any column output from a select query using select as and making up a name. So we could call our 3-letter results column namecode by using the query select left, last name, 3, as namecode from customers. And now at the top we see the column name namecode, which will be much easier to work with than the raw function. Another common example would be to use the concat function we saw in the previous lesson to join the first and last name fields and output that as a column called full name. Select concat, first name, comma, space. Don't forget to include that space between the names in quote marks, otherwise the 2 names will just be run together. Last name, as full name, from customers. And there we are, and now we have that nice full name column instead of that great big horrible concat function. This is called a MySQL alias, and it's a vital thing later on when we come to work with fields we've calculated or in some way created like this, which are not actually stored as columns in the database. In this way, the unwieldy functions can be used just once in the query and never seen again, and we have a nice, easily understood and easily used column name to work with. As I said, you have to stick to the order I teach you when you write MySQL queries. The as clause has to go after select and before anything else. So building on what we did last time, we would have queries like select substring, last name -5, as end of name, from customers. And we could do the same thing with a reverse function, select reverse last name, and we could name that name backwards. We can also have multiple aliases in one query. To do this, you need select column 1 as alias 1, comma, column 2 as alias 2, from table name. So we could return the first name and last name columns with the aliases first and last, respectively, with the query select first name as first, comma, last name as last, from customers. So that's a look at MySQL aliases. Nothing too difficult about that. And now on to a look at how we can wrap MySQL functions within functions. Oh, what fun!